My name is Rebecca STRZELEC. I'm the Nominations Committee Chair, and part of my role with that of my committee is to select leadership volunteers for our ACM SIGGRAPH organization. So I'm very proud today to have next to me a highly talented pool of volunteers who are running to be your next ACM SIGGRAPH Executive Committee Directors. Please, a round of applause for them for even being here in these hot seats, please. Thank you so much. A little bit about the format of this session. We're going to spend about the first 15 minutes. Each candidate, I will introduce them, and then each candidate will have 2 minutes to supply a candidacy statement. They can do whatever they like in those 2 minutes. And then at the conclusion of each candidate's statement, we will exit out into the lobby area for some hors d'oeuvres, and the candidates will each be stationed at a table where you can mingle with them and ask individual questions. So there'll be no questions in the group, but a much more informal conversational question and answer out in the lobby. So to begin, a little bit about the process of elections at ACM SIGGRAPH. If you were an ACM SIGGRAPH member as of the end of May of this year, then you are eligible to vote in your ACM SIGGRAPH election for your ACM SIGGRAPH directors of the executive committee. And this is really important because this body makes strategic decisions for all that affects SIGGRAPH, and that's not just the conferences themselves, but all of the year-long efforts that go into everything we do. This year, the election is running from June 15th, so it's already begun. You could vote right now in your seat if you like, and it runs until August 15th, where the election ends at 1600 UTC or noon Eastern on that day. Now, voting is a little bit of a complex mechanism. So in order to vote, you need to use a PIN that was sent to your email by ACM SIGGRAPH. And that PIN, you will visit a URL and enter that PIN to cast your vote. A vote per each director's position, Director A, Director B, and Director C. And again, you need to do that by August 15th in order to cast your vote for this election. At this time, I'd like to introduce each director that is running for these positions. If the director could just give a little wave to the audience so they identify themselves. For Director A, we have Adam Finkelstein from Princeton University, Paul Cry from McGill University. For Director B, Elizabeth Barron, founder of Immersionary Enterprises, formerly Immersive Realities Technical Specialist for Ford Motor Company. And Mona Khazra from University of Virginia. For Director C, we have Adam BARGTEIL from University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and Joaquim George from University Lisboa. Thank you so much, all. So I'm going to get down and stop talking and let them tell you why they want to be your next ACM SIGGRAPH director. They will each have 2 minutes to do so. Thank you. Adam?
Hi. Maybe I'll move that closer. I'm Adam Finkelstein. I'm a professor at Princeton University, where I have taught since 1997. My primary research area is in computer graphics, but I'm also interested in other areas that are related to SIGGRAPH, like human-computer interaction and audio and machine learning. I've attended SIGGRAPH, the conference, every year since 1993, and I consider this to be my professional community. My research focuses on creating better tools for artists working in the digital medium. And one thing I love about SIGGRAPH is that it brings together various communities from around the world that include artists and researchers and educators and production teams, among others. I've served in a bunch of volunteer roles for SIGGRAPH, and I got to learn what an amazing effort by a massive group of people it takes to pull off a conference like this. So it's with this sense of volunteerism that I'm running for the EC, and I recognize that SIGGRAPH is a slow-moving ship or a slow-turning ship, and I would not recommend rapidly changing course. The current EC has been doing an outstanding job of navigating some really difficult challenges. One of those is that outside our community, many people consider graphics to be a solved problem, and we need to emphasize the big problems that remain to be addressed. And on that topic, I very much enjoyed yesterday's talk by Wenzel Jakob, who won the New Researcher Award. Another challenge is to find ways that SIGGRAPH can provide value beyond the conferences, that is at other locations and other times of year, including online. And finally, we need to find ways to embrace new communities and emergent research areas. And I think my 2 minutes is up, so I'll stop there and pass the microphone to Paul, but I look forward to discussing these opportunities with you face to face.
I'll bring this over here to prep the next transfer. So yeah, I'm Paul Cry. I'm a professor at McGill University. Been there since 2008, working on computer animation. My first SIGGRAPH, I guess, was 1999, so I've been coming almost continuously for 20 years. While being in Canada, I've also lived some time in the States, also worked in labs in Europe, and so ultimately I feel like as being a member on the EC these last 3 years, I feel like I have been a bit of an international voice in trying to say, don't forget about the rest of the world, SIGGRAPH Asia, these things. So in terms of my volunteering, I have served on the Tech Papers Committee, the jury, done reviewing. I was a posters research competition chair 1 year. I've also chaired SCA in 2012 as a program chair. Also coming up in 2020 will be a general chair for SCA to bring it to Montreal. So very interested in supporting these specialized conferences as well. And then outside of my SIGGRAPH service, I'm also the president of the sort of the equivalent organization in Canada, which is the CHCCS, Canadian Human-Computer Communication Society. It sponsors the annual Graphics Interface Conference. So as part of that, as well as workshops that I've organized in Montreal and at the Bellers Institute, I've been trying to build communities in these ways. But certainly as a director over these last 3 years, I think there are some nice projects that we have, in collaborating with other directors, succeeded with developing the journal solution for the specialized conferences, HPG, I3D, and SCA now getting published as PACM issues, as well as the deal with CGF. I feel like I'm running out of time, but 10 seconds. Well, so yeah, there's a number of initiatives that I have been working on and would like to continue working on, so would certainly be happy to tell you more about these in the breakout after.
Hi everybody, my name is Elizabeth Barron, and I am actually currently working at Silverdraft Supercomputing. I spent a little bit of time at Emergenary Enterprises, and most of my work career has been at Ford Motor Company. I've been coming to SIGGRAPH and relying on the resources of ACM SIGGRAPH for well over 20 years, and my focus was to bring really high-end realism to an industry, to using computer graphics and interactive techniques to really focus on how to use it as a communication paradigm. And what I find so lovely about SIGGRAPH is it is a community of people that it's primo for the research and academics and what you can learn and who you can talk to. Like, this is the place to come. I usually feel like I'm at home when I'm here, but I also somewhat feel like a fish out of water because I represent engineering and I represent manufacturing and kind of like original equipment manufacturers. But I think the time is right because the technologies have increased so much and they're so good, and we can get to the point now where the work that's done in filmmaking for special effects can really be based on physics and based on like the actual math data for, you know, applying stresses and structures and wind and rain and snow. And so now I think the time is here where there's a convergence. And so I'd like to use the knowledge that I have from industry to bring that in to the SIGGRAPH community, because I think that industry can learn a lot from the good work that's done at ACM SIGGRAPH, both the organization and the conference. And how much time do I have? I'm good. Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, we have it.
Oh, okay.
Hi, thank you so much for being here. So I'm Mona Kazra. I'm a new media artist, researcher, and I'm a faculty at University of Virginia. first SIGGRAPH was 2001, and since then I've had the honor of serving the organization in different capacities. I was SIGGRAPH 2016 conference chair and SIGGRAPH 2011 art gallery chair, and I was on the conference advisory board from 2014 to 2018. And these experiences have given me very valuable insight into the inner workings of the organization, the conference, and also really great knowledge of the communities, various, very diverse, very dynamic communities that we represent. My objectives to run for this election are twofold. I would love to work with the ACM leadership to create sustainable funding opportunities for funding opportunities for our members. And these could be through international grants, fellowships, scholarships. And as former conference chair, I'm very confident that this is feasible and we can make it happen. And it's a great way to give back to the communities, supporting students, supporting emerging scholars. This is one of the ways we can actually create value or further the value that we provide to our members. The second objective that I have is to create a better and more engaged relationship with digital arts and humanities researchers. The technical research that happens at SIGGRAPH is super relevant to the digital arts and humanities communities, but there are huge gaps still, and I'd love to work on initiatives that can help bridge these gaps. Other than that, but lastly, I conclude that SIGGRAPH has been super, super valuable for my personal and professional life, and I would love to bring that passion and the commitment to serve on the executive committee for the next couple of years. Thank you. There you go.
Hi, I'm Adam BARGTEIL. I'm at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. I'm running for re-election. I'm actually serving on the executive committee right now, and I'm running for re-election to continue and to strengthen some of the initiatives I've been working on. On the executive committee, I've been serving as the chair of the New Communities strategy team. And one of the things that we've done is to create the Frontiers workshops and talks. The workshops just happened for the second time last Sunday. They were a huge success. We ran 6 workshops. They were all very well received. The talks are ongoing. They're getting people out of bed at 8 in the morning. There's still 2 more opportunities. If you haven't seen a Frontiers talk, there's one tomorrow. It's going to be Katie Bowman talking about visualizing a black hole. And then on Friday or Thursday, we have Yasser Sheikh talking about telepresence. In addition to the Frontiers workshops and talks, I've also helped form the PACM on computer graphics and interactive techniques to publish the specialized conferences. I worked with Paul on that. I helped create the ACM Practitioner Award. I coordinated some of the technical papers press releases that get more publicity for our technical papers. And I initiated the talks about creating the doctoral consortium that's happening on Saturday to give our doctoral students a chance to get feedback on their research. In a second term, I'd like to ensure the long-term success of the Frontiers programs. I'd like to leverage the fact that we're going to be in Washington, D.C. next year. I'm actually local to D.C. I live in Maryland because I work outside of Baltimore. And then I'd really like to work on improving the funding climate. We've done some preliminary efforts with the NSF, but I'd like to strengthen some of those efforts. And so that's what I'd like to do. I encourage you to get to those workshop talks, the Frontiers talks at on Wednesday and Thursday, and come to some workshops next year at SIGGRAPH.
Thank you very much for being here, and at least a late time of the day. My name is Joaquim Jorge. I'm a professor of computer science at the University of Lisbon in Portugal, and my first SIGGRAPH was in 1989. I have served the SIGGRAPH in many capacities, since ranging from the international resources community to the education community, and to lately the specialized Conferences Committee. In fact, my main accomplishment was changing the name from small conferences to specialized events. And one of the things that I really find interesting and motivating about working with SIGGRAPH is that I've made so many friends here over the years. And the diversity that I find here and the opportunity to work with so many talented people in the strategy team, and more recently in finding people that have diverse technical interests. So in my 15 years as a volunteer, I've been helping organize as many specialized conferences. We sponsor currently 15 different specialized events. I've been a co-organizer for Expressive, which is one of the conferences that combines science and art and technology. Virtual reality related events. I've been very proud of promoting the SIGGRAPH Association with other entities such as Zero Graphics and more recently IEEE Visualization and Graphics Technical Community. I value my participation in SIGGRAPH for the diversity of people I meet, the diversity of ideas that I can learn from many different people the world over. And as such, I will work to strengthen this cooperation, and I feel that's a singular privilege to work with people where we feel that passion burns strong. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again to all of these folks for their willingness to serve for ACM SIGGRAPH. We are truly grateful. At this time, a couple reminders. You have about 15 days left to vote. If you've forgotten how to do so or you need help in doing so, please visit sigraph.org/vote. Well, you will not only find instructions on how to vote, but you will find candidacy statements written by each of these individuals, as well as their bios. And more information about what ACM SIGGRAPH does for you, please explore our website and figure out why it is these people need to be in these important roles and what they can do for you, the members of ACM SIGGRAPH. A couple little reminders. At this time, we're going to exit out into the lobby area where we can have some hors d'oeuvres and you can ask individual, customized, awesome questions to these folks. As you exit, we have a select number. Paul, could you stand up for me for 1 second? We have a select number of this beautiful t-shirt that Paul is wearing conveniently in the box in the back of the room. If you would like one and we have your size, please feel free to pick one up. That is all we have left, but if you take one, please promise you'll wear it, especially in the next 15 days around members of ACM SIGGRAPH, to remind them to vote and to volunteer for this lovely organization. Thank you so much for attending and enjoy the rest of your conference.